I welcome you all to the 35th National Youth Parliament competition. May this session be fruitful for you all. We will start with the first item in the list of business, which is oath or affirmation. Members to take oath or affirmation, Secretary General, please.
Mr. Sai Charan, who stands elected for the Anandpur constituency of Andhra Pradesh, will now take the oath or affirmation. Sir, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Telugu, please.
నేను
సాయచరణ యువత శాసనసభ సభ్యునిగా ఎన్నుకున్నదన్న చట్టం ద్వారా స్థాపించబడిన భారత రాజ్యాంగంపై నిజమైన విశ్వాసం మరియు విధేయతను కలిగి ఉంటానని నేను సార్వభౌమాధికారం మరియు సమగ్రతను సమర్థిస్తానని దేవుని మీద ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను. భారతదేశానికి సంబంధించినది మరియు నేను ప్రవేశించబోయే బాధ్యతను నమ్మకంగా నిర్వర్తిస్తాను.
Mukherjee, who stands elected for the Midnapur constituency of West Bengal, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Bengali, please.
আমি
অনুষ্কা মুখার্জি যুব সংসদের নিম্নকক্ষের সদস্য নির্বাচিত হয়েছি। আমি ঈশ্বরের নামে শপথ গ্রহণ করছি যে ভারতের সংবিধান যেমন আইন দ্বারা প্রতিষ্ঠিত তার প্রতি সত্য বিশ্বাস এবং আনুগত্য বহন করব। আমি ভারতের সার্বভৌমত্ব এবং অখণ্ডতা বজায় রাখব এবং যেই দায়িত্বে প্রবেশ করতে যাচ্ছি তা বিশ্বাসতার সাথে পালন করব।
It is with great sadness that I must inform the House of the demise of an esteemed figure who has made significant contributions for our country. Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, an esteemed scientist and former chairman of Indian Space Research Organization, passed away on May 30th, 2024. Under his guidance, ISRO achieved numerous milestones, including successful mission to the Mars and the Moon, which have placed India at the forefront of global space exploration. His legacy of innovation and dedication will be remembered and cherished. May his soul rest in peace.
माननीय सभापति महोदया, मैं खुद को और अपनी पार्टी सदस्यों को डॉक्टर के राधाकृष्णन के निधन पर राष्ट्र द्वारा महसूस किए गए दुख के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। डॉक्टर के राधाकृष्णन इसरो में कई प्रमुख पदों पर काम किए हैं और भारत के चंद्रयान-1 चंद्रमा मिशन के पीछे प्रमुख लोगों में से एक थे। मैं यहाँ कृतज्ञता से भरी आत्मा और दर्द से भरे दिल के साथ खड़ा हूँ। मैं शोक संतप्त परिवार के प्रति अपनी गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूँ।
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I extend myself and my party members with the sorrow the nation is feeling on the demise of Dr. K. Radhakrishnan. I fully agree with and support the remarks made by the Speaker and the Prime Minister regarding his significant contributions. His legacy of innovation and dedication will continue to drive our nation's progress in space exploration. We share in the grief of his family members and extend our deepest condolences.
Stand in silence. Members, please be seated. Secretary General may convey the message of condolences to the bereaved family.
Yes, madam.
The next item in the list, Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
Madam Speaker, I have immense pleasure introducing to you and through you to the House my colleagues, the new ministers. Shri Aniket Solanki, Minister of Railways. Shri Samriddhi, Minister of State Home Affairs.
Members, let us move on to the next item in the list of business, which is the question hour. Question number 101, Ms. Tutya.
माननीय सभापति महोदया, सरकार ने तो बड़े बड़े वादे कर रखे थे, पर हमें नहीं लगता ये कभी पूरे भी होंगे। हाल ही में टमाटर, प्याज, लहसुन जैसे रोज के पदार्थों के भाव आसमान छू के आ गए हैं। This shows the continuous failure of the government in stabilizing the funds of essential commodities. Madam Speaker, will the Minister of Consumer Affairs be pleased to state what are the measures taken by the government to overcome this failure?
Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, Price Stabilization Fund (PSF) has been set up for strategic intervention to check the volatility in the prices of horticultural commodities and mitigate hardships by the consumer. Budgetary support of rupees 27,489 crore. I repeat, rupees 27,489 crore has been allocated to the PSF since its inception in 2014 to 15 till date. Ma'am, our government has not failed.
Any supplementary questions, Ms. Tutya? The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Question number 102, Mr. Rohit.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, is the government aware that a large number of road accidents have been reported, especially in the highways of our country? If yes, will the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway be pleased to state the number of deaths that occurred in our country?
Minister.
Yes, the government has recognized that road accidents are the leading cause of death in our country. It is sad to state about 4.6 lakh unfortunate road accidents were reported across the state and the union territories, resulting over 1.6 lakh fatalities and 4.4 lakh injuries.
Supplementary questions, Mr. Rohit.
Yes, Speaker, Madam. Has the government taken any measures to mitigate road accidents? If so, provide details. If not, reasons therefore.
Minister of Road Transport and Highways, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, in the wake to reduce the road accidents, the government has undertaken various measures across the country. They are as such. First, government has implemented a scheme, grant of financial assistance for administering road safety advocacy and awards for the outstanding work done in the field of road safety. Second, immediate emergency medical facilities are provided to road accident victims. Speaker, Madam, I would like to mention some measures that are taken by the government to improve vehicle safety on the floor. First, fitment of 6 airbag for driver and co-driver has been made mandatory from 1st July 2019. Second, anti-braking system has been made mandatory for 4-wheelers as well as for 2-wheelers. Third, Bharat and CAP to attain star rating based on their safety. Fourth, after the recent tunnel issue happened in Uttarakhand, the government has decided to conduct road safety audit to ensure safer roads for the public.
The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Question number 103, Ms. Josephine.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Women and Child Development be pleased to state whether the decline in child sex ratio has been recorded in some states or union territories during the past years? If so, details to be provided. And state if the government has conducted any survey in areas or districts where decline in child sex ratio has been recorded. If so, details to be given.
Minister of Women and Child Development, please.
On best to improve the child sex ratio with many innovative programs. This has led to many positive improvement in sex ratio. Many states have improved their sex ratio considerably in the past few years. However, few states and union territories are yet to improve their ratio. Details are provided at an excerpt. The last census was conducted in the year 2011. As per the latest available report, there has been increasing trend of 15 points. I'll repeat, 15 points at national level from 918 to 933 has been observed.
Any supplementary questions, Ms. Josephine? The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Yes, Mr. Priyanshu.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister be pleased to state that whether the government has issued necessary guidelines to the states which have not shown any improvement in the said ratio, and if so, the details thereof?
Minister, please.
Madam Speaker, government has been making consistent effort under the scheme Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao at all level to generate awareness to stop sex selection at birth and encourage positive action to support education, growth, development and right of girl child. The ministry has written to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and to the concerned state government to take effective steps to address the issue of declining sex ratio at birth.
Question number 104, Mr. Shitich.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Labour and Employment be pleased to state whether the government is aware of the fact that large number of educated youths are not getting the proper employment from the government or by the private? If so, details thereof.
Minister of Labour and Employment, please.
As PLFS report, the estimated unemployment rate has decreased from 6.1% in 2018 to 3.2% in 2023. I repeat, 3.2% in 2023. The self-employment rate has increased from 13.6% in 2018 to 18.3% in 2023. The participation of women in India's workforce rose to 37% in the financial year 2023 from 23% in 2018, which shows that government's women-centric schemes are leading towards a balanced growth in the society.
Yes. Any supplementary questions, Mr. Shitich? The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Yes, Mr. Movind.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Labour and Employment be pleased to state whether the government has taken any steps, I repeat, any steps to reduce unemployment among the youth? If yes, provide details thereof. If not, reasons therefore.
Minister of Labour and Employment, please.
Speaker, Madam, employment generation coupled with improving employability is the priority of the government. Accordingly, the government has taken various steps for generating employment opportunities in the country. Skill India Mission was launched to provide skilling to over 1 crore people under short-term training. I repeat, to over 1 crore people under short-term training. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana was launched for facilitating self-employment. Besides these initiatives, various flagship programs of the government such as Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India, Digital India are also orientated towards generating employment opportunities in the country.
Next question, question number 105, Mr. Jayant.
1,000 students have died committing suicide between year 2019-21. I repeat, 36,000 students. Will the Minister of Education be pleased to state whether that is a fact that anxiety among students with regard to studies, examinations and results are concerning trends observed among students of different age groups? If so, what are the measures being taken to alleviate the said concerns?
Minister of State Education, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam. Yes, I would like to thank the opposition party member for raising up this issue. Our government has taken several measures to alleviate the said concerns. The Ministry of Education has undertaken an initiative named Mano Darpan, covering a wide range of activities to provide psychological support to students. Over 4 million students have been benefited from this initiative. I repeat, 4 million students. A national toll-free helpline number and an app called Those for Life have been introduced by CBSE. For Umeed, understand, motivate, manage, empathize, empower, develop, guidelines have been prepared by NCERT for the schools towards prevention of suicide. Besides, the Honorable Prime Minister initiated the Pariksha Pe Charcha talks with students to create stress-free environment for the youngsters facing exam years. NCERT offers the diploma course in guidance and counseling, DCGC, to in-service teachers so that they can extend the help of students in dealing with academic, personal and career-related issues.
Any supplementary questions, Mr. Jayant?
Yes, Speaker Madam. Will emotional literacy be integrated in all aspects of school functioning to improve the well-being of students? If yes, the details thereof. If not, the reasons therefore.
Minister of State Education, please.
The government has launched the National Education Policy 2020. It recommends multiple strategies for holistic development of students, including mental well-being and emotional literacy. Even the government has introduced app like Prashanstha to map learning difficulties and disabilities so that suitable steps can be taken. For example, Kendra Vidyalaya Sangathan along with Aurobindo Society is providing orientation and training to the teachers and administrators in effective use of app to make education more inclusive and relevant to every child.
The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Question number 106, Ms. Karunya. Minister of Health and Family Welfare, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the government is implementing the menstrual hygiene scheme under the National Health Mission to promote menstrual hygiene among adolescent girls in the age group of 10 to 19 years. The major objectives of the scheme are as follows: to increase awareness among adolescent girls on menstrual hygiene. Second, to improve access to and use of high-quality sanitary napkins by adolescent girls. Third, to create awareness on safe disposal of sanitary napkins in an environmentally friendly manner. Also, the Education Ministry has implemented schemes like AEP in Kendra Vidyalayas and Navodaya Vidyalayas. Also, the government has implemented schemes and programs like Pavana, Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Janaushati Pariyojana and Scheme for Adolescent Girls. In the last 5 years, the total number of beneficiaries that were covered under the scheme was 38,51,912. I repeat, 38,51,912. The total amount of funds that were covered under the scheme was 79 crores.
Any supplementary questions, Ms. Karunya?
Yes, madam. Will the minister be pleased to state the work of ASHA workers under the scheme?
Minister of Health and Family Welfare, please.
Speaker, Madam, the ASHA workers are involved in the promotion of the scheme. They are responsible for distributing the sanitary napkin pack at a subsidized rate and arranging monthly meetings with adolescent girls in the area to deliberate on various health issues, including menstrual hygiene management.
The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Question number 107, Mr. Manikya.
Honorable State, is it true that deep fake issues are rising due to the misuse of artificial intelligence? If yes, what measures are taken by the government to prevent them?
Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, deepfake is a form of synthetic media which is developed through artificial intelligence. It is a kind of technology which allows creators to make what is called as digital forgeries. videos of faces and voices of people can be swapped out and manipulated. महोदया, मैं विपक्ष के सदस्य से सहमत हूँ और डीफेक मामलों के बारे में बात उठाने के लिए वास्तव में आभारी हूँ. But that doesn't mean that the government hasn't been doing anything. Yes! I would like to inform my colleagues that the government has already started working upon the issue. The ministry has from time to time advised social media platforms to take serious action towards deepfake cases. The ministry has invoked Section 66D of the IT Act 2000. We have made it very clear that anyone found responsible for creating or spreading personation content may face imprisonment for up to 3 years or a fine of up to 1 lakh rupees. And we have also instructed all social media platforms to take down such videos within 24 hours of receiving the complaint. Speaker Madam, our government had come up with a 4-pillar action. They are detection, prevention, reporting and awareness. Recently, our government had issued advisories on the use of artificial intelligence.
Any supplementary questions, Mr. Manikya? The floor is now open for supplementary questions. Yes, Mr.
Is government considering the comprehensive ban on artificial intelligence? As several experts have raised concern on safety and security of an individual as well as the nation.
Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, a democratic country which ensures freedom of speech can never even think of it. The opposition is busy passing statements which are not even possible. Yes! They have to understand that banning AI is not the solution to all problems. Deepfake through AI has emerged as a threat to democracy, but the same technology helps to assist the public to interact with the government as well as the government services. AI is a boon and a bane at the same time. AI has various useful aspects. However, it depends on how we choose to use it. India's strategy focuses on responsible use of AI and ensuring AI for social empowerment. The government is completely aware about all its ill effects and is taking all necessary actions possible.
The question hour ends now. Yes, Mr. Arya.
Honorable Speaker Madam, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by a defamatory news item in the Bharat Times on 31st July regarding the attendance rate of certain youth parliament members. The news item had prominently featured the photographs, names and attendance rate of 5 youth parliament members with a low attendance. Madam Speaker, the Bharat Times report is defamative and its actual attendance rate was 87%. The figures put out by newspaper are completely incorrect. The newspaper had sourced the data from unreliable sources in the form of a Microsoft Excel sheet, but made several bundles while processing the information. Speaker Madam, now I request you to allow me to raise a question on the matter now.
Mr. Arya, have you given a notice of it earlier? You may give due notice along with a copy of newspaper cutting and I shall consider it. You cannot spring a surprise on me like this.
Speaker Madam, already given notice of it at 10 am today.
It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know of my decision. Now papers to be laid. Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Ms. Ananya Warrior, please.
Madam, I beg to lay the paper on the table.
Minister to lay paper on the table.
A copy of the annual accounts of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi, for the year 2023, together with audit report thereon.
Minister of State Finance, Shri Arvind Prabhatji.
Madam, I beg to lay the paper on the table.
Minister to lay paper on the table.
The Small Industries Development Bank of India General Amendment Regulations 2013 published in notification number file number 2084 CAV in Gazette of India dated on August 8, 2013.
Minister of Forest and Climate Change, Mr. R. Jayant, please.
Ma'am, I beg to lay the paper on the table.
Minister to lay paper on the table.
A copy review by the government of the working of the National Biodiversity Authority, Chennai, for the year 2022-2023.
The next item in the list of business is the message from the upper chamber. Secretary General to report the message from the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary of the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament. In accordance with provisions of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business In the upper house of Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of the Central Goods and Service Tax Amendment Bill 2024, which has been passed by the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Secretary, to lay on the table a copy of the bill as passed by the upper chamber.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the Central Goods and Service Tax Amendment Bill 2024, which has been passed by the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Secretary General to report the assent from the President.
I have to report to the House that the President has given his assent to the Integrated Goods and Service Tax Amendment Bill 2024, which was passed by the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Honorable members, at this stage of proceedings, I have an important announcement to make. On my behalf and on the behalf of the honorable members of the House, I have great pleasure in extending a warm welcome to Shri Anika Gunarate, Speaker, Shriman Tanav De Silva, Deputy Speaker, and Shri Anushka Karunarate, Secretary General, Youth Parliament of Sri Lanka, who are here on a visit to India as the honoured guest. It is a high-power delegation. The delegation arrived on 19th August 2024. They are now seated in the special box. We wish them a very happy and fruitful stay in our country. We also convey our warm greetings and our very best wishes through them to the government of Sri Lanka, to the Youth Parliament, and to the friendly people of Sri Lanka. Now, the House will take up the next item in the list of business, which is calling attention motion. Ms. Samruddhi Mohan, Ms. Antaram Siri, Ms. Sonakshi Mehta, Ms. Tutyashri, and Ms. Afifa, please.
The government's silence on honor killing reveals a shocking disregard to human life. Turning a blind eye to brutality, it has the power to stop. Honorable Speaker, ma'am, several cases of honor killing from Indian urban and rural pockets go unreported. NCRB report reveals that 25 cases were reported in the year 2022 and 33 cases were reported in the year 2023. I want to draw the attention of Home Affairs Minister on the recent incidents. Women of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand were subjected to honor killing. Women of Manipur and Rajasthan were paraded nakedly. In Tirupati, a father killed his daughter, beheaded her and disposed her body. In Karnataka, 17-year-old daughter was killed just to protect the honor of her family. The recent issue of West Bengal, where a female doctor, I repeat, a female doctor was raped and was brutally murdered. The issue of Sandesh Kali raises the concern of safety and security of women of our nation, and also highlights the failure of the government. Why the government has failed is not at all a million-dollar question. The million-dollar question is, what happened to the safety and security of women of our nation? I want the government to react on this issue.
Minister of Home Affairs, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the government is aware about the situations taking place in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan and Manipur. The government is continuously doing cabinet meetings, high-level talks and taking all the necessary actions. The government is protecting the privacy of the survivor and preventing the incitement of violence.
Yes, Ms. Samruddhi.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am, the Delhi government launched 181 helpline number. Ma'am, in this number, more than 6,30,288 cases were registered. More than 1,362 cases of acid attacks on women were registered in just a year. Ma'am, I want to tell the government that how can the roads be safe when the womb isn't? What is the condition of our nation where women are not able to walk freely on the road?
Ms. Antaram Siri.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am, how important a childhood is for an individual. But many of the children lose their childhood due to these child marriages. According to the recent recorded data, child marriages have gradually increased after the lockdown. There are around 24 million child brides in India. I repeat, 24 million child brides in India. It is estimated that 40% of 60 million child marriages occur in India. So, Speaker ma'am, what is the government doing? Is the government sleeping? What measures did the government take for this issue?
Ms. Sonakshi Mehta.
माननीय सभापति महोदया, स्वतंत्रता प्राप्ति के बाद गांधी जी ने कहा था, जिस दिन इस देश की लड़कियां रात में सड़क पर बिना डर के चल सकेंगी, उसी दिन भारत का असली स्वतंत्र दिन होगा। पर लगता है स्वतंत्रता प्राप्ति के 78 सालों के बाद भी हमारी सरकार असली स्वतंत्रता हासिल करने में असफल रही। हमारी देश की महिलाएं अभी भी सुरक्षित नहीं है। आखिर ये सरकार कब तक हाथ पर हाथ रखकर चुप बैठी रहेगी? सरकार अपनी आंखें कब खोलेगी? सरकार जनता को सिर्फ सपने ही दिखाएगी या उन सपनों को पूरा भी करेगी? देश को तो आजादी मिल गई, पर इस देश की बेटियों का क्या? अकॉर्डिंग टू द डेटा, 30% of the women in India are subjected to physical and sexual violence. Out of all the physical violence and rape cases registered, 70% and 90% of them have been done in the victim's house respectively. According to NCRB, crimes against women have been a spike of 4% in state and union territories. I repeat, 4% in state and union territories. Speaker madam, the government hasn't even reacted with respect to the issue. Is the Minister of Home Affairs even knowing the responsibility towards the nation?
Ms. Tutyashri.
Honorable Speaker Madam, it is a shame that India's rankings with respect to women's representation in politics and workforce is currently behind much underdeveloped countries. Only 20.37% of MSME owners are women. Only 10% of the startups are founded by females and 23.3% of the women are in the labor force. According to the World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Report 2024, India ranks 129th out of 134 countries. I repeat, India ranks 129th out of 134 countries. As per the latest PLFS report, the estimated labor force participation rate for females above the age of 15 years is 37%, showing an increment in the participation of women in the workforce in our country. Though the report suggests that women's participation in the workforce in our country has increased, most of the women still remain in the backhand, seldomly holding significant positions of power or influence. India ranks 143rd out of 185 countries. I repeat, 143rd out of 185 countries in terms of women's representation in the lower house of the Youth Parliament. In contrast, India's women's representation in the parliament remains well below the global average of 25%. In 2022, only 14% of IAS secretaries were women. There are only 3 chief women secretaries across Indian states and union territories. India has never had a women cabinet secretary either. Still, in many areas of the country, unlawful acts like the Sarpanch Pati, I repeat, unlawful acts like the Sarpanch Pati take place, which defeats the reservation of women in Panchayat Raj and violates the dignity of women. Many women in our country are reduced to mere faceless wives and faceless daughter-in-laws in grassroots politics. आपकी नीति बनाने की गति तो कछुए से भी धीर है। क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि जनता का सब्र कब टूटेगा? माननीय सभापति महोदया, ऐसा लगता है कि सरकार ने कुछ भी नहीं करने की कला में महारत हासिल कर ली है। सरकार की निष्क्रियता उनके द्वारा किए गए किसी भी वादे से कहीं अधिक मुखर है। क्या विपक्ष को इस मुद्दे पर शांत बैठे रहना चाहिए? माननीय सभापति महोदया, मैं इस सदन का ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहती हूँ कि हमारी यह सोती हुई सरकार इस महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे पर जागे, एवं गंभीरतापूर्वक विचार विमर्श करें।
Ms. Afifa.
A government's true measure is not at all revealed by its promises, but by its failure to act against the violence it ignores. How long must one suffer in pain and agony before someone takes action and ends this tragedy? It's time to rise up and fight for what's right, what's right, what's right. Honorable Speaker, Madam, according to the recent NCRB report, 51 cases of crime against women are reported every year. There has been an increase of 25%, I repeat 25% in dowry death cases, although dowry was outlawed back in the year 1961. In India, all the way from 2-month-old to 90-year-old women are raped according to the official data. Unofficially, we never know. महोदया, ये लड़कियां हमारे अपने बच्चे हैं, ये देश की महिलाएं हैं, ये सोती हुई सरकार कब जागेगी? देखा जाए तो कुंभकर्ण भी रामायण के वक्त जाग गए थे, लेकिन हमारी यह सोती हुई सरकार जागने का नाम ही नहीं लेती। मैं हमारी यह सोती हुई सरकार आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, होम अफेयर्स के मिनिस्टर तथा लॉ एंड जस्टिस के मिनिस्टर से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे देश के सामने आए और इस मुद्दे पर बात करें।
Minister of Home Affairs, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the ruling party would like to thank the opposition for taking up this issue. In 2023 alone, for the safety and development of women and children, the government has allocated 25,449 crores. I repeat, rupees 25,449 crores. The issues of acid attack has been taken seriously and the government is providing free treatment with the compensation of 3 lakhs to the acid attack survivor. Madam, seems like the opposition party is not interested in knowing the data. To make the members aware, let me put on the floor that domestic violence against women has declined from 32.3% to 21.3% in the country. I repeat, from 32.3% to 21.3%. Ministry of Home Affairs has set up Women Help Desk and strengthened anti-human trafficking units with sanctions rupees 200 crore. I repeat, rupees 200 crore to the states and union territories. Madam, our government is committed to safeguard security of women and children. And many projects are underway which will not only make states and union territories a safe place to live, but also empower every woman of this country to live independently.
Honorable Minister of Law and Justice, please.
Respected Speaker, Madam, I would like to mention a few laws on the issues being discussed by the opposition party. Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2021. Our government has raised the age of marriage for women from 18 years to 21 years. As we are all aware, the trafficking in humans or persons has been prohibited under the Indian Constitution under Article 23. The Criminal Law Act 2013 has come into force under IPC, which provides comprehensive measures to counter the human trafficking in any exploitation, such as sexual exploitation, slavery, and forced removal of organs. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 provides far more effective protection of the rights of the women guaranteed in the Constitution who are victims of any kind of violence occurring within the family. The Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 provides protection against the sexual harassment of women at workplace for the prevention and redressal of the complaints of sexual harassment. The Constitution Act 2023 reserves 1/3 of all seats for women in Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Assembly of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, including those reserved for SCs and STs. I request the opposition party members to not be worried on the issues being faced by women and child, as the government isn't sleeping and we are working hard to protect them.
Minister of State Home Affairs, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to make our opposition members to notice about the measure taken by the government. Vatsalya and the Mission Poshana implemented, Working Women Hostel Scheme, Support to Training Employment Program for Women Scheme, and many other schemes are being implemented, which are mentioned in the ministry website.
Honorable Prime Minister, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, सम्मान रक्षा हेतु हत्या, I mean honor killing. Speaker Madam, we are fully aware that this is not a $1 million question, but sadly, it is the mentality of millions of people. I request the opposition to not be concerned about the safety of our daughters, since we are constantly working to protect them. Yes! चिंता की बात यह भी है कि महिला हेल्पलाइन नंबर पर काफी मामले दर्ज हुए हैं, लेकिन इसका मतलब यह भी है कि देश की महिलाएं ऐसे जघन्य अपराधों की रिपोर्ट करने के लिए बहादुरी से आगे आई है। अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं अपने विपक्ष से कहना चाहूंगा कि हमारी अनमोल बेटियां सड़कों पर और उनकी मां के गर्भ में सुरक्षित रहेगी। Coming to child marriage, according to the survey conducted by NHFS, the child marriage rates in the country have dropped all the way from 38% to 23%. I repeat, from 38% to 23%. Madam Speaker, I think the opposition is only interested to know about the incidents taking place in the country and not about the actions taken by the government. Yes! Our government makes no fake promises. As mentioned earlier, we have made sure to address every possible case and have taken immediate action on the culprits to improve women's representation in politics and workforce. Our government is constantly making efforts through various initiatives and programs as mentioned by our ministers. माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, अगर हमारी सरकार कुंभकर्ण जैसे सोते हुए होते तो देश इस विकास के बारे में सोच भी नहीं पाते। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, हमारी विपक्ष तो अभी तक कछुए के बारे में बात करने में लगी हुई है। ऐसा लगता है कि हमारे विपक्ष के सदस्यों तो सदन में ही कौवा उड़ पंछी उड़ खेल लें या फिर कछुए खरगोश का कहानी सुनाने लग जाएंगे। The important thing they are not understanding is that critics see the pace, but they often miss the purpose. The true measure of progress is not in its speed. The true measure of progress is not in its speed, but in the impact we create. I repeat, in the impact we create. We intend to inform the House that we, no matter how slow our progress is, no matter how far our impact have reached, are making constant efforts and will continue to make efforts in order to help, protect, develop, enhance and empower women in the country.
We will now move on to the next item in the list of business, which is the legislative business. We will start with the introduction of the bill. Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare to introduce the bill.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce a bill to introduce agriculture curriculum in National Education Policy 2024.
Now the question is, leave be granted to introduce the bill to introduce National Agriculture Curriculum in National Education Policy 2024. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The leave is granted.
Madam, I introduce the bill.
Now the House will take up the consideration of the bill Right to Work 2024. Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, please.
Madam, I beg to move the bill for guaranteed employment and payment for work in accordance with Right to Work Act 2024. The main clauses of the bill are ensuring secure livelihood to everyone. Among some, there is a higher rate of unemployment even after being skilled. They will be provided with jobs. The people of rural areas, especially the tribal category that are socially and economically backwards, are given privileges and provided with employment for the betterment of their lifestyle and to create stability in their family. Providing better information for high school students in terms of professional orientation and employability in the future. Encourage the growth of small and medium-sized businesses which employ majority of Indians. to adjust the school curriculum accordingly for providing vocational training. Vocational training is under consideration to be started by the school itself. Skills and training are imparted to the most basic level of the population. Investing in skill development programs for improving the employability of the workers. The third provision benefits the overall development. Apart from providing economic security, it can help in empowering women, fostering social equity among others, and reducing migration. Madam, the fourth provision is raising of funds. 75% of the funds for this program will be raised by the central government. The rest 25% of the funds will be raised by the state government. Unemployment tax of 1.5% will be added to union taxes. 0.5% of the next budget will be allocated to this scheme. 1% of the budget allocated for defense will be diverted to this. Madam, I am confident that everyone in the house will wholeheartedly welcome this bill. And through it, we all will be part of providing a better future for our youth and developing our country. Madam, with these words, I now move the Right to Work Act 2024 to be taken into consideration.
Yes, Miss Hannah.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the Bill of Right to Work will contribute to the quality development of our country. It will rise in employment opportunities as befitting to the qualification and skills that will cause the value in the society. Madam, let me point out that increase in employment opportunities will directly result in the reduction in crime rate, creates a better living standard, therefore contributing to the development of our country. Thus, I strongly support the bill and request my fellow colleagues to support the bill.
Yes, Miss Ojaswini.
Respected Speaker, Madam, the introduced bill for consideration raises many queries for which the government is answerable. As we are aware, our country lacks funds for projects as big as this. Look before you leap is what we want to remind the government. We think the government is more ambitious regarding this project without taking into the account of the actual scenario. This project claims equal opportunities for all gender, caste and creed, right? Imagine you are speaking to a majority of women who are still in the shackles of social taboos and tradition. What about them and what about transgenders and where do they stand? Madam Speaker, we will not remain silent as citizens are given false promises and guarantees without an actual plan. We doubt the government is even trying their level best or making fake promises as usual. We are not against providing opportunities, but how will the government manage with training and distribution of skilled citizens and providing the jobs according to their abilities, and what assurance can the government give on the job security for youth? महोदया, हम सरकार के झूठे वादों में फंसने वाले मूर्ख नहीं है। हम सवाल उठाएंगे और सरकार को हमारे सवालों का जवाब देना ही होगा।
Opposition Leader Miss Afifa, please enlighten the House with your views.
महोदया, मैं बिल पर विचार के लिए बिल के प्रस्ताव पर अपनी राय साझा करना चाहती हूँ। जैसे कि श्रम मंत्री ने सिर्फ सीट दावा किया है कि वे भारत की पूरी युवा पीढ़ी के लिए रोजगार के अवसर पर ध्यान केंद्रित करेंगे और भारत में 18 से 30 वर्ष के आयु युवाओं की संख्या बहुत ज़्यादा है। और मेरा सवाल यह है कि इतनी बड़ी संख्या के लिए रोजगार कैसे स्थापित करेगी सरकार? सरकार को ऐसे वादे और गारंटी देना ही बंद करना चाहिए जिन्हें वे कभी पूरा ही नहीं कर सकती। It is high time that the government should realize its inefficiency being the ruling party. अगर यह बिल पास भी हो जाए तो विपक्ष कौवा और पक्षी उड़ नहीं खेलेगी, बल्कि भारत का युवा का विश्वास सरकार के ऊपर से कौवे की तरह उड़ जाएगा। सभी चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये बिल पास ही नहीं होनी चाहिए। मैं तो ये दावे के साथ कह सकती हूँ कि ये बिल विफल होने वाली एक और परियोजना है।
Honorable Prime Minister.
अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं विधेयक को आगे बढ़ाने का पुरजोर समर्थन करता हूं, क्योंकि ये हमारे देश के विकास में एक बड़ा मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। Considering of wasting of employment opportunities, we are shocked to see the opposition making such old-fashioned and gender-based statements. I seriously wonder whether we are living in the 21st century or still stuck in the 18th century. Madam Speaker, I think we have come a long way, and yet our opposition is still stuck in the primitive times. यदि महिलाएं आगे आने में अनिच्छुक है तो मुझे लगता है कि ये उन्हें शिक्षित करने और मुक्त करने का सही तरीका है. For a long time, India was seen as a country with more than 1 billion hungry stomachs. But now, India is seen as a country with more than 1 billion aspirational minds, more than 2 billion skilled hands, and millions of youths. Perceptions of India have now changed. Speaker Madam, over a period of time, we have kept our promise and proven ourselves to the public. This is exactly the reason why our government is seated at this side of the parliament and the opposition is seated at that side of the parliament.
Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, please.
Madam, I would like to remind the House that the rules and regulations outraged in the labor laws are being executed very well. And I can guarantee you that the same benefits would be extended by the creation of the bill. Areas of concern raised by the honorable members of the opposition have already been thought and attended to. I am sure that the increase in the demand in the labor market will be addressed by the opportunities created in healthcare and education sector. With proper implementation of this scheme, India will become an employment hub for the global citizens.
Now, the question before the House is that the bill Right to Work 2024 be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now the question is, clause 2 to 6 stands part of the bill. But there is an amendment in clause 5 by Ms. Ojaswini. Ma'am, are you moving it?
No, madam.
Now the question is, clause 2 to 6 stands part of the bill. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The clause 2 to 6 stands part of the bill. Now the question is, clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stands part of the bill. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The clause 1 stands part of the bill.
Madam, I move the bill to be passed.
Motion moved that the bill is passed. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is passed. Now the House will take up the private member resolution. Mr. Pranav to move the resolution.
Respected Speaker Madam, I move the following resolution. This House recommends that the government should take steps towards the promotion of the sports, games and the development of the sports infrastructure and also to make provisions to create secure career opportunities for the sports persons. Many schools often neglect sports in the favor of academic pursuits. This has led to a sedentary lifestyle contributing to various health problems and decreased productivity among students. Speaker Madam, I urge my fellow members to recognize the importance of the sports and games and to support this bill so that a day being a sports person will be as equally as acceptable as being as a doctor or an engineer for our Indian society.
Yes, Ms. Disha Badami.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I stand here to support the resolution moved by my colleague. In the recently concluded Olympics, India showed unprecedented performance. However, we are nowhere near to the table toppers in terms of medal tally. India has a huge potential to excel in the field of sports as well. This resolution can be a right step towards India becoming a Vishwaguru even in sports.
Yes, Mr. R. Manvith.
Honorable Speaker Madam, the world's most populous nation has the worst Olympics record of medals per head.
In the past 3 decades, it has won only 2 gold medals. Compare India's performance with minors such as Grenada and Jamaica, who regularly get a medal for every couple of 100,000 people. So why isn't India punching its weight? Madam Speaker, sport has never been a priority for the government, public and parents. The basic feeling is that a sport is not a proper career. So respected Speaker Madam, I stand to support the resolution to overcome these issues.
Minister of Education, please.
Madam Speaker, I would like to congratulate the mover of the resolution, Mr. Pranav, who spoke focusing on a matter of public importance, and appreciate the support given by the members. Here, I would like to mention some of the initiatives which have already been taken by our government, like the Fit India movement, Khelo India and Mission Olympic 2024, and many more to promote sports and games and concerned infrastructure. Madam Speaker, I want the mover of the resolution to know that the government is very much aware about the lack of infrastructure and the attitudinal problem of school system and parents towards sports. In the light of the issue raised by the Honorable Member of Youth Parliament, I would like to reiterate the commitment of the government to ensure the promotion of sports and games. I thus request the member to withdraw the resolution.
Mr. Pranav.
Madam Speaker, I am grateful to the honorable members for lending support for my resolution in the view of assurance given by the